Today is October 13th, 2020. The time is 5:55 p.m. I want to just briefly talk about something, and I've talked about this in other videos, and as a lot of my older subscribers know, I've taken down most of my videos, so I'm not sure which ones I have up still that mention these things, but I do mention this in previous videos, but I want to just briefly touch up on today. And that has to do, well, let me just start here for a moment. There's a term called conspiracy theorist, and there's some talk about the origins of this with the JFK assassination and government agencies promoting this concept to basically debunk people who were trying to figure out the truth behind it all. And that's not what this is about, but this kind of ties into with what I want to get into. So people try to figure out that people realize something's wrong with anything, whether it be current events or historic events, modern history, whatever. And a lot of people theorize. And sometimes it's based on facts, but then theories, opinions, beliefs, and etc. kind of take over. And I also emphasize the dangers when people share their opinions, theories, beliefs, even desires, especially online. When people are trying to search information, something will, as a lot of people say, and I hate the term, resonates with them, and they go with it. And then they end up, you can't break them from like, okay, well, you're wrong about that because here's some facts that contradict it. But anyway, I digress. But I just want to emphasize, people enjoy talking endlessly about theories and opinions and all this stuff, and it has no value. And personally, I don't care what other people's opinions, theories, beliefs, or anything are. I care about facts. So if people have facts or they're sharing facts or whatever, then I'm interested. But outside of that, I don't really care what, pineapple on pizza, yes or no. By the way, pineapple on pizza is very good. So conspiracy theory, these people who look into conspiracies. And if you think about what a conspiracy theorist is, it's someone who conspires, not someone who is trying to figure out what's going on because something is not right, but someone who's conspiring. They're the ones that are building a theory of conspiracy. They're conspiring to do something, and they have a theory behind it. People are trying to understand, to make sense of a situation or what's going on. So for someone, let me just stop here for a sec. So to say, there's a conspiracy theory or conspiracy theorist, what they're saying is there's something unknown, and that's what they're trying to understand to get the proper picture of whatever it is the topic is. So for someone to deny a conspiracy or conspiracy theorist or a theory implies that there are no unknowns. Everything is known. So for someone to deny a conspiracy or conspiracy theorist or a theory implies that there are no unknowns. Everything is known. And anyone who takes that position, well, they've just capped off their potential for gaining more knowledge or whatever else. But then we get into a whole bunch of social conditioning and everything else where people are programmed to automatically default to deny facts and truths and everything else. But that's a different topic, which I also discuss in my older videos. Now, what I want to really focus on, now that I have this foundation set, is there's a lot of groups and videos and channels and people and all this stuff coming out saying, oh, you know, they're trying to get the truth out, get the facts out and everything else, trying to wake up people. And I've said many times, you're not waking up anyone from either side of camp. And we're making the assumption here that there's two positions, maybe there's three, but just for the sake of simplicity, you're not waking anyone up. Either someone is awake, aware, and I'm using these as common descriptives, to whatever the topic is, or you're not. And you're not waking anyone up. And a lot of these people who just rant on and on and on, you know, they say, oh, I'm waking people up, trying to get, you're not doing anything. Trying to wake anyone up. And that goes for any side of the camp. So what happens is a lot of people get, and I do talk about this in another video specifically, people get all wrapped up in this loop of, you know, talking about their position and mocking the other side. And I'm not saying I'm not advocating for it, against it, or saying maybe there's merit or not to it. I'm just saying people get wrapped up into it and they just can't break out of that cycle. And what ends up happening is people end up capping themselves off and they're not progressing any further. They just get caught up in that cycle of gossip, and you just go round and round in circles endlessly and finding endless examples. It doesn't matter on which side of the argument you're on, you're, you know, just endlessly finding examples one after another and making fun out of the other group and people, and it's not getting anywhere. The only thing that one can do, for example, with the awake group, and I'm trying to be very neutral here, not because I'm trying to sound cryptic or anything. I'm just so everyone can relate. I don't want to lean on or use any examples here, but the only thing that you are able to do or accomplish are the people who are awake to a position and assuring them that they're not alone, and hopefully in the end, I want to use a word, I can't think of the right word, but convince them not to take the easy path. Say, for example, ignorance is bliss. And then they close their eyes and become like the other group, for example. That's the only thing that's being accomplished, is people who are already awake, aware of whatever, say a conspiracy that has taken place or that is taking place. You're assuring them that they're not alone. And for a lot of people, especially when, you know, maybe they're not online much, or they don't have an online presence, and they come on and it's like, oh, I'm not the only one who's taking this position or who sees this. And it reassures them, well, okay, well, I'm not crazy, there's other people, and maybe there's somewhere a little bit more facts to say, yeah, I was right all along, you know, I agree. And then people will start to gravitate towards people of like mind. The problem is when you're on the wrong side of that and you're gravitating, and then you start to see what you want to see, which is another danger, which I discuss all this in other videos scattered throughout different videos. People will start to gravitate towards people of like mind. The problem is when you're on the wrong side of that and you're gravitating, and then you start to see what you want to see, which is another danger, which I discuss all this in other videos scattered throughout different videos. But yeah, really that's all you're doing, is you're letting other people know that they're not alone and encouraging them not to go down the easy path of ignorance is bliss and simply blending in to falsehoods or false narratives. That's all that's really taking place. So anyone who thinks that, you know, they're doing their part, trying to wake people up or whatever else, you're not doing that. Now, somebody from the opposing argument, say, may come over and start asking questions. Well, then yes, you start to give answer, and hopefully you give enough good answer that they may give them some thought. But, and everything that I'm talking here is, I'm generally speaking. There are going to be exceptions, you know, for everything, but, you know, I just wanted to, just being general here. So before anyone starts making comments in the comments section, oh, I know somebody who completely did a 180 and now they're on this side. Great. You know, there's always the exceptions. So I'm just speaking generally. Anyway, that's all I really want to say. You know, my observations with people online trying to, you know, truth. And there's a lot of people who are what they call themselves truth seekers. And then there's people who really never in their life sought the truth. The truth was always given to them, say, through firsthand personal experiences, whether it be personal or professional, whether it be woo-woo, spiritual, political, you know, like earthly, whatever. And people, because of the cycles of civilization, and I talk about this a lot in other videos, people are not able to distinguish between someone who's getting, say, second, third, fourth hand information of truth to someone who is, say, for example, a whistleblower, or someone who's exposing something because of something firsthand. And people really need to learn to recognize the differences between people. And I'm not saying people who are presenting second, third, fourth hand information have no value. I'm not implying that at all. I'm just simply saying, you know, there are people with first-hand knowledge, experience, etc. We're not all equal. Just, you know, I know that's going to rub some people wrong. We're not all equal. Some people have greater knowledge and understanding. And the question is, how would you recognize when someone like that comes along, right? And not everyone knows everything, but people who do speak, say, on first-hand experiences, knowledge base, or who have an extensive knowledge base, they need to be recognized. And I think there's part of why people get rubbed wrong, because they just maybe jealousy or feeling inadequate or whatever. I mean, there's probably a million reasons why we're not all equal. And this all ties into cycles of civilizations. And then when, for example, the beta and omega types are, as an example, and I'm not saying all, but they obtain various positions of authority, and then they have to deal with an alpha type, and their natural instincts is like, okay, well, this person in the natural hierarchy is greater than I am, but I have to present myself with what I call the false authority over them, manufactured authority. Then we have a lot of social problems arising. I did do a video specifically in more detail about that. So you know, when somebody comes along trying to explain something, you know, don't get offended. You know, this person might actually know more than you. That's how you learn. If you're coming up into the world, especially when you're young, teenager, early 20s, you think you know everything. You don't know anything. You may have your opinion, which is fine on pineapple on pizza issues, but you know, you don't. And then we get into the lack of respect for older people, and with age should come wisdom and knowledge and understanding. but younger people don't seem to accept that. But anyway, I mean, I can expand on all this a lot. I just wanted to skim across it all. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.